Well, market ups and downs can really shake people's confidence, and a lot of folks might be wondering how to wade the waters. Todd Uzdebski, Associate Portfolio Manager with My Private Wealth of Raymond James, joins us. Todd, can you give us some insight on what people should be doing during uncertain times?
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. The truth is market volatility is actually quite normal. There have been countless global events, news headlines that have driven markets both to the upside and down. So we really need to understand that market pullbacks are a normal part of the market cycle. And if history tells us anything, it's that markets eventually bounce back and go higher over the long term, even after some pretty rough patches. So what people should be doing is stepping back, taking a look at the big picture. Market volatility doesn't actually have to be all that bad. In fact, it can create tremendous opportunities if you know where to look.
Well, there you go. Well, that sounds encouraging, at least on the face value, if I knew where to look. What do you mean by opportunities?
Well, when fear spreads, a lot of people panic, sell their investments. Others try to time the market, hoping to buy back when it recovers. But trying to time it perfectly with the market tops and bottoms is really tough, if not impossible. And some people end up missing out. So that's why it's really important just to stay focused on your long-term plan and make smart decisions during volatility. This can include buying high-quality investments when they sell off, add to your investments that you already own if the market drops in value. The fact is some of the best market days come right after the absolute worst days. And those investors that have historically added to those investments, when we do get a downturn, they always recoup their money faster.
Good points. Are there other strategies that people can use to keep their head in the game during uncertain times?
Yeah, first off, just make sure you're comfortable with how you're invested before any correction or sell-off ever happens. Knowing that equities or stocks have a lot more downside than fixed income investments. Make sure you're just comfortable with your exposure to these. Also, make sure that you're diversified with investments across different types of, asset types, sectors. This can help you from just being overexposed to any sector. And always take profits and rebalance to less risky investments when things have gone well, and maybe add more money when things don't look so good. It's really been my experience that some of the best times to invest are when nobody else wants to. But because we don't know where market bottoms are, you can devise a plan just to add money in on a regular basis by dollar cost averaging your money in during this volatility.
Sounds like a thoughtful process. Should everyone be doing this kind of planning?
Well, honestly, we believe everybody can benefit from, having some sort of plan or a strategy in place, especially during market volatility. Having a plan in place allows you to focus on the big picture, makes the noise that the market is having a lot less of a thing. So, if you're feeling uneasy about your investments or where things are headed, it's always a good idea to talk to your financial planner, revisit your plan. A plan, as I said before, is really meant to evolve, and that includes rebalancing your investments, both when they're up and also when they're down.
Well, thanks very much, Todd. Some smart ways to stay grounded and confident even when markets get bumpy. Todd Uzdebski is an Associate Portfolio Manager with Raymond James Limited, member of the Canadian Investor Protection Fund. You can find him online at myprivatewealth.ca.